Friends, good afternoon. When you will receive this lecture, but from my point of view, good afternoon. Friends, we are going to study English subject in 12th science. My dear friends, have you ever heard the word oasis? What means oasis? Friends, oasis means a water resource along with some greenery in the middle of desert. In the middle of desert. In desert, very hot, scorching sunshine, very hot, scorching sand, heat waves, and in this scenario, when a traveler fed up with heat, when sees water resource, it is a feeling that cannot be described. English subject is the same oasis in 12th science. My students are now in a race. They have taken the stance. Get, set, go. It is weighted. They are ready to work hard in physics, chemistry, etc., biology. And among it, this subject will give you stories, poems. So your hardened nerves will get some relaxation. So we are going to study such an interesting subject for 12th science, English. Friends, as you know, we shall go through two types of textbooks. Among them, Flamingo is the main textbook. In Flamingo, the first lesson is the last lesson. This is an irony. The first lesson is the last lesson. Okay. Before we go further, I just give you some outline, some description about this article. This article is written in the background of First World War. This article is written in the background of First World War. Friends, when enemy army, like we talk about China, like we talk about Pakistan, when an enemy army invades into the boundaries of a country, what happens? They controls the area and they try to convert the people as their citizen. They change their mindset. They try to change their thinkology also. One kind of brainwash. This is possible only if their mother tongue education is seized. Seized means stopped. If their mother tongue education is seized, only then brainwash is possible for the attackers, for the enemy. So in the story, French districts have been won by Germans. French districts have been won by Germans. Now the Germans have issued an order. Germans have issued an order. What type of order? the schools in these two districts, the schools in these two districts will not use French language as the medium of education. They will not teach French in the schools. They will teach instead German. Okay? It is like we want, India is a very peaceful country. Just for example, we want two districts of China and say that now the schools in these districts will not teach Chinese language but will teach Hindi. It is the same. Two districts have been won by Germans, and Germans have issued an order that only German language will be taught in the schools of these two districts. Now, the order has been issued, but the officers, German officers, for implementing the order have yet not come. So, the teacher who is teaching French, as you are learning Gujarati, in the same way, your mother tongue is Gujarati and your subject is also there Gujarati. In the same way, in France, language French is being taught. And before German officers come and make them implement the order, the teacher who teaches French language, who has been teaching French language since years, is going to deliver his last lecture, is going to deliver his last lesson. And now everyone has all of a sudden, overnight, realized the importance of mother tongue. Now everyone has realized the importance of mother tongue. Even the teacher realizes that he has not worked hard enough to teach French to each and every man in the districts. In the same way, the elderly people in these two districts, also have come to attend the last lecture on their mother tongue. They have also realized that they have wasted their school days while they were in school and have not learned mother tongue in a expected manner. This all narration is written from an average student, a boy perspective. He is inattentive, he is lazy, and he is not scolded by the teacher with the severity as used to be because it was the last lesson. Friends, first of all, we are going to write difficult words. You will write meaning of difficult words in the textbook itself. I will write page number here, on which page number the word is there. You will write on that page beside like this, you will write like this beside the word, so that whenever you read it again, you should not require the notebook in which the difficult words were written. So you will write in textbook itself. Now switching over to difficult words. Material of this lesson, along with introduction of the author and summary of the story, has been sent to you electronically. First of all, on page 2, about the author, the first word Prussian is from about the author. Prussian means German. Prussian means German. Now, in the middle of the page, there are some phrases. In the phrases, thumbed at the edges. Thumbed at the edges means soiled at the edges. Soiled at the edges means what? When we read some book, we do like that. So, the book which is read many times have some dirt, have some soil here. It is called soiled at the edges. Now from the main text on page number 2 itself, participles. Participles means not present participles or V3, not like that. Participles is the symbol of grammar. Participles means here grammar. It is used as the symbol of grammar. Drilling. Drilling means march. Marching army. March means marching army. Drilling means march. Draft. Draft means agreement. Draft means agreement. DRAFT, draft means agreement. Now, page number 3. Repeated in unison. Repeated in unison. Repeated in unison means chorus. Repeated in unison means chorus. Ruler. Ruler means scale. Ruler means scale. Before. Before means in front of. In front of. Frilled. Frilled means wavy edging. Frilled means wavy edging. What means wavy edging? If the border of some cloth, if the border of some cloth is wavy, and it is at the edge, at the boundary, edge means boundary, it is called frilled frock, frilled gown, frilled frock, means the boundary, the last part of the cloth is wavy, okay, and edging means boundary, last. Switching over to difficult words on page number 4. Page number 4. Primer means book for primary education. Primer means book for primary education. Thunderclap means sound of slap. Reches, not seches, but reches. Reches means evil person. Cranky, means odd. Something different in common, which does not belong to common, which is somehow different, it is called odd. Cranky means odd. Page number 5 does not contain any difficult word. Page number 6 contains a map only. Page number 7 does not contain any difficult word. Now, page number 8. Friends, I have talked with my superiors, and they have assured me that one doubt solving session will be given. In that session, you may ask me any difficult word apart from this. If you find any word difficult other than this word, you can ask me them in the doubt solving session. Any difficult word you can ask me. Now, page number 8. Hopvine means one kind of tree. Angelus means Roman Catholic prayer. Roman Catholic prayer. Angelus means Roman Catholic prayer. Last but not least, Vive la France. Vive la France means long live France. Long live France. As our leaders utter at the end of a speech, Jai Hind. In the same way, in France, it is the practice to pronounce Vive la France. In this way, we have completed difficult words. Now, we are going forward for the explanation. Remember, once again I tell, if you find any word difficult other than these words, you can ask it to me in doubt solving session. France started for school very late that morning. There was a crowd in front of the bulletin board, in front of the bulletin board. Near town hall, from the window, he saw M. Hamel walking up and down in the classroom. M. Hemal did not scold him for coming late. M. Hemal was in a party where from the limitation of the word, next point we will write after eliminating this. First of all, we just go through these points. Franz is the boy. Franz is the boy from whom perspective this story is written. This story is written from Franz's perspective. He is a schoolboy, average or dull. Franz started for school very late that morning. It was usual for him. There was a crowd near in front of the bulletin board near town hall. So, in those days, there were no social media. So, anything, urgent news, any achievement or any urgent instruction were displayed on the bulletin board. There were kept bulletin boards in the middle of the city or town, and instructions or urgent news or achievements were written on it. Mostly this bulletin board was kept near town hall. There was a crowd in front of the bulletin board near town hall. Friends started for school very late, so he did not stop there to read it. But why was there a crowd? Because the bulletin board was written by the German. Bulletin board was written by the enemy, that we have won this district now and these rules will be applicable. It was written there, bitter instructions. Okay, so there was a crowd reading the bulletin board. From the window, he means Franz. From the window he saw M. Hemal walking up and down in the classroom. M. Hemal was the teacher who was teaching French in that school. M. Hemal was the teacher who was teaching French in that school. So, from the window, Franz saw that M. Hemal walking up and down in the classroom. M. Hemal, who is a teacher, did not scold him for coming late. Whenever Franz came late, the teacher scolded him, beat him with the ruler. But on that particular day, M. Hemal, the teacher, did not scold him for coming late, because it was not the last lesson of French language. It was the last lesson for the French language teacher also. So, M. Hemal was delivering his last lecture, and so he did not scold him for coming late. M. Hemal was in a party wear. His clothes were party wear. Why was it? Because he was teaching his subject for the last time. Okay, going through the next points. Hamel said that it was the last lesson he would give them. It was an order from the Germans that only German would be taught in the districts of Alsace and Lorraine. Two districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine, had been won by the Germans. Two districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine, had been won by the Germans. It was an order from the Germans that only German would be taught in the districts of Alsace and Lorraine. France felt sorry that he had not learnt his mother tongue French properly. France felt sorry that he had not learnt his mother tongue French properly because it was not possible then to learn his mother tongue again. Germans will not let it be. Franz now understood why there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board why M. Hamel was in fine Sunday clothes and why elderly people of the town were sitting on the benches as students. Franz now understood why there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. When he was coming to the school, when Franz was coming to the school, he had seen a crowd in front of the bulletin board. Now he realized why it was. Because they were reading this declaration that the districts of Alsace and Lorraine have been won by the Germans, and in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine, no school will teach French, all school will teach German only. This instruction was being read by the crowd in front of the bulletin board. Franz now understood this. He also understood why Mr. Hamel was in fine Sunday clothes. Mr. Hamel was in fine Sunday clothes because he was delivering the last lecture of his career. He also understood why elderly people of the town were sitting on the benches as students. Elderly people of the town were sitting on the benches. Franz saw it. Why? Because they all repented. They all repented. Reading the bulletin board, they all repented years ago when they were students. Why did they not learn their mother tongue in a better manner? They were now missing the days when there was a chance to learn their beloved mother tongue, French. Mr. Hamel said that it was the last lesson he would give them. It was an order from the Germans that only German would be taught in the districts of Alsace and Lorraine. Franz felt sorry that he had not learned his mother tongue French properly. It was not possible then. Franz now understood why there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board, why M. Hamel was in fine Santa Claus, and why elderly people of the town were sitting on the benches as students. Now, next point. M. Hamel, the teacher, asked Franz to recite but he stood there silent. But he stood there silent. The teacher did not scold him. Instead, he confessed that parents and teachers were at fault. M. Hamel said that mother tongue is the key to the prison of slavery. The pigeons were chirping cooing Franz thought that the Germans will force them to go in German only. M. Hammel's sister was packing their trunks as they had to leave the country next day. M. Hamel, the teacher, asked the Franz to recite, but he stood there silent. He was an average student. He never knew grammar rules well. Same happened on that day also. He stood silent. The teacher did not scold him. Whenever a student cannot recite properly, teacher punishes him or her. But that day, that particular day, the teacher did not scold him. Instead, he confessed that parents and teachers were at fault. He was missing his mother tongue and his career of teaching mother tongue so deeply that he said that parents and teachers were at fault when they had time to teach better. Animal said mother tongue is the key to the prison of slavery. If enemy country has won Alsace and Lorraine, only mother tongue is useful to understand your history, to understand your culture, and to keep it alive. The pigeons were chirping, that is cooing. Franz thought if the Germans will force them to coo in German only. So here is an irony, this is an irony that we can make to use our language only, but we cannot force it to animals and birds because they are the part of nature. M. Hammel's sister was packing their trunks as they had to leave the country next day because he was a French teacher and now teaching French language was prohibited, so there was no work for him, so he was ordered to leave the country the next day. Country means Alsace and Lorraine. In the deeper part of France, there was still liberty. elderly citizens who were sitting on benches also recited like small children. They cried also. When the church clock struck 12, trumpets suggested that it was the time for midday prayer. M. Hamel took a piece of chalk and wrote on the board, "Vive la France." Without a word, with gestures, he suggested that the school was dismissed. They might go. Elderly citizens who were sitting on the benches also recited like small children. They cried also. They all missing when they were students. Why did they not learn their beloved mother tongue French well? When the church clock struck 12, trumpets suggested that it was the time for midday prayer. Trumpets of the army called all the flock, all the people of the town, come here, and with this prayer, today now onwards, German rules here. Animal took a piece of chalk and wrote on the board, Vive la France, without a word. With gestures, he suggested that the school was dismissed, they might go. So, he was attached to his career emotionally. So, he delivered his last lesson. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good day to you all. We shall continue in the next lecture. We have studied the story. We have gone through difficult words. Difficult words, if you find other words, you can ask it to me. And question answers of this story will be sent to you. Thank you.